From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Hello, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show podcast. You have reached a live episode of our podcast. We are here to serve you people, wherever you are tuning in from, whether it is South Africa or Tanzania, whether it is from over in New Zealand or Queensland or up in Canada. So many checking in from Ontario, Nova Scotia, across the United States. Wonderful to have you checking in with us. And of course, Scandinavia and all of our friends in Great Britain, Germany, France. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a live taping. I am joined by my team in the production booth, of course, is Casey. She's waving at all of you. You can't see her, but she is monitoring all of you. She is running Overwatch, as she always does. Next to me, I have Rob the Rocket, who runs everything hands-on. Rob, what say ye?
Sometimes I imagine that a lot of our listeners might be singing, see me, feel me, touch me, heal me. And it's time.
Why would they be singing that exactly?
Because they want to be healed.
Hey, don't we all? Or touched. Yeah.
It's all part of it. You're very touching.
You said it the nice way. All right. We are getting started here with, I've already checked everyone in and a bunch of people in, and I know where a lot of folks are checking in from. So I know that Brian Peterson is checking in from Minnesota. And Brian asked the question, divorced, but how can I accept from my youngest daughter that's 11 that I'll think about it, she says, when I ask that we do one-on-one time? Brian, listen, I'm going to be very honest with you. Children should be given some autonomy in their decision making. They should. And they need to learn more and more autonomy as time goes on. However, at 11 years old, an 11-year-old does not know everything that's best for them. You would not ask an 11-year-old who broke her leg if she wants to go to the doctor or not. You're going to the doctor. You would not ask or ought not ask an 11-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 14-year-old if they want to go to therapy if there's been a divorce. The child is going to therapy, okay? You're taking your youngest daughter. There are things we ask about, and then there are things you can give the autonomy, and then there are times when you make the decision. And she may go kicking and screaming, but she needs to go. And what I would recommend in situations like that is maybe start with something that she would never want to say no to. Start with that, Brian. Now, Brian, you happened to mention before we started the show that you're from my home state, Minnesota. I'm not there now, but you are. And I'm willing to bet that your daughter likely has a favorite music group or a one or two or a type of music that she likes. What about getting tickets to a concert, Brian? Or she probably has a favorite type of food that she likes. And so what about saying, hey, we're going. Come on, we're going to get, maybe she loves whatever it is, Ethiopian food. I have a gift certificate to, whatever Ethiopian restaurant. Let's go. But think of something that she can't say no to. Or, in fact, don't make it optional, Brian. You are giving her all of the power. And the truth is, she is angry at you. She is hurt. She is sad. And that's why she is distancing herself from you. And I'm betting that it hurts you. And you're feeling sad and like, what have I done wrong? Maybe she doesn't like me. Your daughter, and if you have other kids, your children love you. Even when they hate you, they love you. Even when they're mad at you or sad or disappointed in you, they love you. Children want nothing more than to connect with their parent. I devoted an entire chapter in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, to the simple belief children love parents more than parents love children. Okay? And a lot of people chafe at that. You can read the chapter yourself. I'm not going to explain it right now, but the bottom line is, adult children will spend their lives still trying to connect with a parent who has shunned them their entire lives. Some of that is trauma shit, but a lot of it is they just want love. Your daughter wants love, but there's hurt, there's pain in there that you have to help her get out of her. She should be seeing a therapist, by the way, but you can listen. And you can even say, and take her and just go for a walk. Go for a bike ride, take her to a movie, whatever it is, the movie she's been wanting to see, whatever it is. But start building that bond and listen. Don't try to solve. Don't defend, deflect, die, or dodge. Just listen and let her talk. Don't stand up for yourself. Just let her talk. Let her flush it out of her system. Affirm her feelings. Affirm her anger. You have every right to feel that way. I can totally understand why you feel that way, honey. And, your own stuff you can talk about later or whatever, Brian, but just let her talk her shit out. But she doesn't always get her way in terms of spending time alone together. You have every right to say, come on, we're going. I don't want to. Yeah, well, we don't always get everything we want in life. All right. Next question. This one is from Terry Diaz. And the reason for that, Brian, just for the record, is because by doing that, you are fundamentally saying that you are the parent, and at times you know what's best for the child and what's best for that relationship. As long as you are then using that time to give her the opportunity, and you can even say to her, honey, I want to listen. If you are mad at me, I am open to hearing it when you are ready to talk about it. And I will listen. I promise you. And then fucking listen, Brian. And don't go trying to fucking defend yourself. Own that shit. She wants her pain acknowledged and heard and understood. Terry Diaz in California writes, do you have any recommendations on how to try and trust the new person in your life when you have been tarnished deeply by other relationships? Yeah, this is fascinating, isn't it, Terry? And Terry, there are many of us who have been in this situation where you've been hurt in the past. And so you're in a relationship with a totally new person, and you're finding it hard to trust and believe in this new person. So let's just say, Terry, you're in a relationship now with Paul, and Paul hasn't done anything. Paul's a wonderful, upstanding guy. But because you had bad experiences with Tom and Bill and Steve before that, you're like, I don't know, how do I trust Paul? Well, isn't it fascinating? Paul hasn't done a fucking thing, right? But here you are, I can't trust Paul. It has nothing to do with Paul. So you're judging someone based on other people, which is hardly fair. What if Paul is judging you based on Susie, Tammy, and Teresa? Well, you're like, well, that's not fair. How long do I got to keep paying for Susie, Tammy, and Teresa's shit? I'm Terry. I'm not them. Exactly. The problem is not in trying to trust Paul, Terry. The problem is you have to get all the pain out of you regarding, what were the names I came up with last, guys? Steve, Bill, and Tom, whatever. You haven't gone into those experiences fully yet, Terry. And specifically, you have fear because of that. Because those feelings of pain and suffering and anger and rage and sorrow are not fully out of you, those are what you fear experiencing again. You fear having that experience again and it triggering all those past emotions. That means you still have all those memories many of your memories still have emotional charges attached to them, like electrons spinning around a nucleus. And until you decharge that nucleus, until you decharge that memory of those feelings with your journaling, by writing letters to those guys that you don't send, and especially obviously the past childhood stuff, and I know you know that, Terry, because I know you're a regular follower. But until you decharge those past experiences, you're going to live in fear of this new person, Paul, doing something that would be similar, that would touch those and zzz, zzz, and ignite those electrical charges. So you trust this new person by releasing all the pain and fears and bullshit beliefs you've been taught about yourself, but especially all that pain from those past relationships. You work on the present one by working on the past one. There's nothing you have to do with Paul, because once you release that fear more, you'll effortlessly open up to Paul. And the truth is, if you don't, you're judging him unfairly, and you have to think to yourself, well, what if he's fucking judging me unfairly? Well, we're fucked then, and it's hardly fair to me. Exactly. All right, next question. Steffi asked this question, and this is a heavy one, folks, but I have been there myself, and I have the 8-inch scars up my forearm to prove it. Steffi asked the question, please give me a reason why I should stay here on Earth. I feel like I have nothing left in the tank. Well, I have been there, Steffi. All right. And Steffi is a somewhat very regular listener to our show. Steffi, I'm going to tell you this. You know I've been there. You've heard me talk about it. Steffi, you actually have a very full tank. It's just not full of the good stuff. You've got a tank that is so packed full of pain, suffering, manure, crud, rocks, tar, sludge, urine, piss, snot, sweat, all the crap of life. And it's all everyone else's. And all your pain on top of it, in it, mixed in with it, that there's no room for any of the good stuff. And you think there is no life ahead. You think it's hopeless. I have been where you are. For 12 years I was. Culminating in the thing I mentioned earlier about my arms, my forearms. Okay? I have been there, Steffi. You've heard me talk about it. You know that. I have been exactly where you are. And I can tell you for a matter of absolute fact, what your problem is right now is all that crud inside of you. Okay? And the reason you should stay is because you have a great life ahead. I know it for fact. I literally know it for absolute fact. All right? I've counseled plenty of people over the last 30 plus years in your exact position. And the only thing you have to do is to begin to get that out of you and to persist in that, because that's what's keeping you between now and joy. That's what's keeping you from that life that you hardly believe is even possible. But the mere fact that you are still here on this earth says that that pilot light, just like the pilot light underneath a water heater or on the burner of your stove, that pilot light is still burning because you are still here. That means somewhere in you, you still have belief in you. Even if it's teeny tiny, the fact that you're still here says that you still have some flame, some spark of the divine flame in you. Believing in you, believing in life, and believing that you are fucking good. I know it because I've fucking been there. There is life ahead. All it takes is the courage to begin to choose differently. And you start by getting this shit out of you. I swear to you. I swear to you. There is life ahead if you just commit to emptying that tank of all the stuff that is in there. And you don't even have to get it all out before you begin to feel lighter. But you have to commit to that. It's the stuff that's so scary that you don't want to face. All the ugly, scary, dirty, nasty stuff. But if you just take it in small bites. We had a fellow in the last show that we taped. He said, I've never really journaled before. But he wanted to start and persist and persist. And I guarantee you, and it doesn't have to take a long time, but it does require that you can have life. And I know that you still have hope because you're still here and that pilot light is burning. And your job is in a pilot light, with a pilot light on your water heater. There's usually a copper tube that feeds that gas, right? That's if you have a gas water heater or a gas stove, okay? And it feeds it gas. But if that thing becomes so corroded that the gas can't get there and pump it anymore, then you're not going to have hot water with your shower, okay? And that's what all that crud is in your love cup, in your tank. It's like that copper tube is being corroded. So what we're doing by journaling is we're going in and we're sort of burrowing it out. We're rotor-rootering out so that you can pump in more gas, so to speak, more life-giving energy and make it go whoosh, make that pilot light go whoosh, to full flame. And this can be done because I've done it with clients for years and years and years and years and done it in my own life. There is life ahead, Steffi. There is. Next question. All right. Oh, boy. Kate Brokaw on Facebook asked this question. I asked a question in the last live. Okay. Do I need to retype what I asked? If you could, that would be good. But Kate does write this. My grief counselor, oh, God. People, listen to this. Oh, God. My grief counselor laughs at me and forces me to play board games and card games. It's a big Bobo word joke. Bobo word. I don't know what that is, but a grief counselor who's laughing at you and forcing you to play games, board games, and we're out of here. Anybody doing that? No, stop. No. You're just get a different grief counselor. Get in a grief group. Go to NAMI.org, N-A-M-I. If you don't have resources, even just Googling it in your area, or an online grief group, or at a local synagogue or temple or church, they have them. Get in a grief group. even if you don't have a specific grief counselor. Groups can be so powerful, but go to NAMI.org 401. But oh God, a therapist laughing at or forcing you to play games, I don't even know what the fuck to say to that except no, God, no. All right. Jennifer asks the question on Facebook. How do you know if you're ready to be in a relationship? I seem to have lost my interest in dating. Jennifer, you know what you need to do if you've lost your interest in dating? Stop dating. Just trust your own energy. Just stop fucking dating. But then what you need to do for your own sake, just for your own sake, not so you can get back into dating or something like that. If you've lost your interest in dating, stop fucking dating. Don't force life. If you're forcing life, you're not being authentic, folks. But then what you should be doing in your journaling, and I consider journaling conversations with your best friend, your authentic self, okay? What you should be doing then is in your journaling, asking yourself the question, well, why do I want to stop journaling? And, bullet point what your reasons are. And then after each one of those bullet points, write the question, well, why? Well, why that reason? And how does that feel? And what am I feeling right now? In other words, really pull the meat off the bone so that you can begin to understand yourself. And you ask the question, though, what's fascinating is you say, I seem to have lost my interest in dating. But you open by saying, well, how do you know if you're ready to be in a relationship? So you seem to be asking two antithetical things. How do I know if I'm ready to be in one, but I've lost my interest in dating? Yeah, dating can be exhausting, but you wouldn't be asking about ready to be in one unless you were interested in being in a relationship. And so you're wanting to be in a relationship, but you don't want to date, which is fine. And you're like, well, if I stop dating, how will I ever be in a relationship? By just trusting life, trusting your energy. All right. I had 10 years between my divorce and my second marriage and meeting the woman that I've been with for the last 12 and a half years. 10 years. Now, I dated some in there. I fell in love a couple times, but it didn't pan out. All right. It's just trusting yourself. Trust your own energy. All right. And Rob's got a question. But before I do, Steph, I know it's been 40 years of that, but you're not flushing it out. You're not going to the deepest stuff. I guarantee it. You have to go deeper. Push yourself. There are things inside of you you're afraid to touch. That's the shit you got to go into. Rob, go ahead.
Spent on YouTube, Nihal says, I'm currently in a relationship that I'm afraid of leaving, to be honest, because I'm terrified of being alone. He's the only one who has given me attention and is 13 years younger. How do I stop being terrified of being alone? I've been alone for 7 years since my marriage ended.
Yeah, the reason you're terrified of being alone is not being alone. Obviously, you can be alone if you've done it for 7 years. The reason we're terrified of being alone, it's not alone in and of itself. It's what happens inside of us when we are alone. All of those fucking voices, all of those messages that we got way the fuck back there in childhood, that we got conditioned to believe about ourselves, all of those come rising up and they start churning in our fucking head. See, I'm no good. See, I'm unlovable. See, no one's ever going to like me. See, I'm not important. See, I don't matter. See, I'm unwantable. All that shit, and it attacks you from within. And this is why we'll hold on to even a shitty relationship, is because getting shit from somebody outside of us, while it sucks ass, isn't even half as bad as those attacking voices inside of us. That is how powerful the messages we receive in childhood are, folks. That is the power of parental conditioning. That even good parents with good intentions often send messages that hurt, have long-term negative impact. It doesn't have to be quote unquote abuse. All right. And so you're afraid of it. And until you go into identify and extract those messages, you will continue to be afraid of being alone, and you will continue to hold on to relationships like this one that are sucking the fucking life out of you. But you're holding on because you're afraid of those messages inside. So the real solution is to go inside and get those messages out of you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
At 27, I've been through the ringer. I've been cheated on by a girlfriend and later a boyfriend. And honestly, I was tired of everyone telling me I had to either fix it or forget them. I didn't need a side to choose. I needed a way to heal. I started reading a book called Cheating Sucks. and for the first time, the pressure disappeared. It doesn't push me to move on, and it doesn't force me to stay. It just goes deep, into the parts of the heartbreak no one talks about. If you're tired of the stay or go debate and just want to feel whole again, you need to read this. Head over to badasscounseling.com and get your copy of Cheating Sucks today. Audiobook and paperback. Start your own path to healing.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back with the Badass Counseling Show, lightning round, taking questions. I've got one from Kayla here on TikTok who asks the question, how do I respond when my partner continues disrespecting me? It just won't stop. Kayla, what happens when someone is disrespecting another person is that fundamentally there is a power imbalance. One person has more power over the other person. The only reason that we take disrespect from another person is because they have power over us. Whether it's personal power or they have power of position or the power of money or some sort of power. And sometimes that power is because of a fear. I literally just answered a question for someone over on YouTube who is saying, I'm clinging to this relationship because I'm afraid to be alone. So that gives the person I'm clinging to power over me, power to hurt me, mistreat me, treat me poorly. The reason, okay, so you are holding on here, you are allowing someone to disrespect you because they have power over you, which usually means you're afraid of something, okay? And no doubt, Kayla, you have asked your partner to stop treating you poorly. You've likely, and that's you finding some power, you escalating your power. Maybe you even stood up, put your foot down and said, hey, stop treating me poorly. You've escalated your power. And what they have done is what? They've escalated their power even further up. So they've reestablished that power imbalance to fundamentally get their boot right back on your throat, right? And with that power imbalance, having a power imbalance, there's a phrase called a benevolent dictator, right? A gracious leader. If you have a gracious leader, if you have a good leader, then being a follower isn't such a bad thing. But if you've got someone leading and you're following, if you've got a power imbalance and the person is misusing that power, disrespecting you, which is willful, the mere fact that you've stood up, the mere fact you've asked them to stop means they are aware of it. They literally know what they are doing because you have made them aware of it and they are choosing to do it anyway, which means this person is literally choosing to hurt you. Do you know what the word is for that? Malice. They want to hurt you. Now, just think about that one for a second. Let that one sink in. Now, you are not causing them to hurt you. You are not the cause. However, and this is the stinky part, you are allowing it. Now, I'm not saying it isn't fucking hard as shit to consider not allowing it because it's scary. I'll be alone or they might not like it or whatever. You don't mention abuse, so I'm taking that off the table. You've taken it off the table. It wasn't on the table. So that means you have every option to walk away. So the question becomes, why are you continuing to allow someone to disrespect you? It won't stop because you are not stopping it. You are an autonomous entity. You are a grown-ass woman. And it will only stop when you stop it, either by standing up and escalating, and you say, well, but then he escalates, right? And that's when you back down. What if you were to not back down? Well, then he'll just yell louder, right? So then you escalate. And sometimes we escalate by silence. Sometimes we escalate by walking away. But because the truth is, every day that you allow it, you are, in fact, endorsing it. And I'm betting the reason you're not walking away is because you are terrified. Likely, as we just discussed with the listener over on YouTube. All right, next question. Got lots of them flying around here. Where there
another one if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob. Lay it on me.
Kelly says, I'm in a relationship that we've grown done with counseling. I get triggered about weight and food comments, and I have an eating disorder. I've gained and lost hundreds of pounds. How can I undo self-loathing about my weight? It's exhausting.
Okay, so your question is, how do I undo my self-loathing? Your self-loathing about your weight comes before this relationship. Now, your partner has made shitty comments. That's right. Okay. Your pain over your partner's shitty comments, you need to be journaling about that. You need to be writing letters to your partner that you don't give them. Okay, so this is all stuff you do on your own before we even talk about anything to do with interacting with or addressing your partner. But ultimately, your feelings regarding your own weight, your beliefs regarding your own weight and your own body, they go way back to your own childhood. And you have to drill down to that. And it's for shit like this. This is not my book. There's a Hole in My Love Cup is not specifically about eating disorders or any other addictions or disorders. However, what it is, it's about healing the soul. This is about inner child work. This is about healing the soul. And this will massively impact that eating, those eating issues that you have. And then at some point, if it has not been... At some point, as you do more of that work of healing your past, the origins of your food issues, you will become stronger in your relationship with your partner, and you will be able to stand up for yourself more and no longer tolerating. And perhaps you'll need to walk away, whatever, but you have to become deliberate about healing you, which also requires the right tools. And I don't know of a better one than that. And yes, I am biased, but you can read the 1,600 reviews over on Amazon, all of which, or most of which, not all of which, but most of which confirm that. There's a Hole in My Love Cup, and the audiobook and everything is available at badasscounseling.com. All right. Lorraine asks over on Facebook, what's the best way to reach out to an adult child who has been ignoring you? Or do you let time go and wait? I have a quick answer for that one, Lorraine. Go to easiest way is either Instagram or TikTok, just because and my page there, Badass Counseling. And all of my videos are little thumbnails, so they're easy to scroll backwards through. And go back to Christmas of 25, and I believe 24, and I believe 2023 as well. And every Christmas, I repost a video that I made, and I'm sitting outside in the snow in a bomber jacket on a log or something. And the title of the video is something along the lines of 7 things you can do to help your adult child heal. The truth is, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but in all likelihood, Lorraine, and your adult child is ignoring you because in all likelihood, you have caused some pain to that adult child. And the only way they know to heal themselves is to create some space. But I can tell you for a matter of almost absolute fact, your adult child still loves you and wants deep down a relationship, but it's going to require you healing your own shit and you owning the pain that you have caused. Okay? And that video will at least get you started going down that road to healing some of that, because, and it starts by asking one fundamental question. It starts here. And it's this: if you could have the choice of having a relationship, your child being healed, your adult child being healed, but you don't get a relationship with your adult child, or you do get a relationship with your adult child, but they're not healed, which would you choose? As long as your priority is the healing of your child above even you ever getting a relationship with that child, then you are acting in the best interest of the child. But as long as your primary driver is to have a relationship with the child, then you are in it for something that you will get out of it. And the kid will sniff that out a million miles away, and they have every right to. But once it is ultimately simply about helping the child heal, then you have begun down the path of making it about something bigger than yourself. All right? Go watch that video. 7 things you can do to help your adult child heal, posted on Christmas of 25, 24, and 23, I believe. All right, next question. Okay, this is a good one. This is about red flags. And this one comes to us also over on Facebook. This is from Miss Rhodes. That message you just said helped me out as well. I feel like I've worked a lot with my inner child, and now I noticed every little teeny tiny red flag. But my big question is, I feel like they are all red flags, or might just be so fucking stubborn right now that I think everything is, when certain things could be worked towards something good. Like I get a couple things, little things that I'm not okay with, which could be minor things I need to work on maybe, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. So then I feel like it's back to that inner child running instead of knowing that she's okay. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, it actually does make sense. Because what that paragraph, it's sort of bouncy and jumpy, and that is reflective of your inner state. You're bouncy and jumpy inside, which tells me you still have pain and fear inside, which tells me there's still stuff from way back in your past that hasn't been healed yet. Here's the deal with red flags. The bottom line is, on one hand, there are no red flags. There's no such thing as red flags. And people will say, well, that's just fucking terrible. You shouldn't tell people that. Abuse is a red flag. And things like that are red flags. I say abuse isn't a red flag. Abuse is a red flag? Are you fucking kidding me? Abuse, it's like a red flag is an indicator of something bad to come. Right? It's like a flashing lights, when you're approaching a construction zone 5 miles up, and there's that first sign that says construction zone 5 miles ahead. It's just got some yellow lights. And then about 3 miles ahead, it says reduced speed zone, go from 65 down to 55. All right. And then it says 55 down to 40. And then it says, it's narrowing the lanes and all that shit. And it says, bridge out ahead in 1 mile. Abuse is you're already flying off of that bridge into the fucking canyon or into the lake. All right? Abuse isn't a red flag. Abuse is, it's done. All those red flags were everything before that. You want to know how to pick up every red flag? Heal your own shit. Because red flags aren't what happened outside of you. Red flags are what you feel inside of you. It's when you've gotten your own shit, your own pain. You've healed that inner child. You've extracted those shoulds. You've extracted the conditioning that taught you to believe you're not good enough. You're unlovable the way you are. You don't matter. Who you are is unwantable. The more you do that work, the more you begin to feel when something feels not okay. And you simply put it out there and you address it. You speak your truth. And then you watch how that person responds. And their response tells you who they are and tells you whether or not you want to take one more step with them or pull one more step away from them. And if they respond something, you say, oh, that hurt my feelings. I really wish you would apologize for that. I need you to apologize for that. And they say, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about. Or no, let's say they say, you're right, I did. I can see how I hurt your feelings. That was rude of me, and I'm so sorry. And internally, you're thinking, thanks. You've just shown me who you are, right? They're a person of character. And the other person, but let's say they respond, I don't know what you're talking about. That didn't hurt. Come on, I was just kidding, or something like that. Internally, you should be thinking, thanks. You've just shown me who you are. You've just saved me like years, decades of going into a relationship with you. And so the point is, red flags, when you've done the work on you, everything registers as just a little ping, and you're not afraid of it. The only reason you would be afraid is because you still haven't healed your own past. And so you're afraid of it happening again. But once you've healed your past, you have the confidence of knowing, no matter what happens, I'll be okay. And so you can confidently go down any path knowing I'll be okay. Or you can confidently stand up for what you want or need. And when it's not given, you can confidently walk away knowing I'm fine. Everything's okay. It's okay to walk away. I don't have to cling to this person for fear I might be alone. Next question. Codeman on TikTok asks a question. Is it okay for me to post TikTok videos about extreme abusers while trying to heal myself? Yeah, why not? I guess I'm wondering clearly you're asking that question because you have some sort of fear. You'd probably call it an anxiety. What's the fear? What do you fear? You can post about whatever you want. Question is, what's the goal in posting? I'm assuming you are healing yourself from extreme abuse. And potentially it's to draw attention to the notion of extreme abuse, give it a voice. Maybe you're wanting some sympathy on that. Nothing wrong with that. There's not a damn thing wrong with that. Literally. If you want to post on that, I say fucking go for it. Who gives a shit? It's your life. Live it your way. You're a fucking adult. Live it your way. Understand in advance, all right? It's the fucking Wild West on social media. On TikTok, it's the Wild West. In some ways, not as much so. It used to be more so. It's mellowed out. I've been on it for 5 years, actively posting, and I post controversial shit. But in some ways, platforms like Facebook can be more so. So you may get some people responding unfavorably or attacking. And you got to ask yourself, if I am recovering, trying to heal myself, do I want to lay myself open to that, or do I want support? Because if the reason you're posting is because I want support, which I totally understand, maybe be more selective. There's nothing wrong with posting on extreme abuse. Just make sure you're posting stuff that is maybe sympathetic to it. Although it'd be, if somebody is coming after you for posting something about extreme abuse, assuming it's sympathetic of the victims, well, I don't know what kind of fuckstick would come after somebody who's standing up for victims of extreme abuse. I mean, if somebody were coming after you for that, I don't know what the fuck that person's
Sven, do we
problem
think
is.
this person is talking about posting a video of this person's abuser?
It's okay for me to post TikTok videos about extreme abusers.
Probably not personal.
No, and probably TikTok would filter that. They wouldn't allow you to show the actual abuse, and that would be slander if you're actually putting it out there about the person. Then you get into legal trouble potentially. But just know that you're opening yourself up to criticism. If you're wanting support, though, if you've been a victim of extreme abuse, I strongly, and I've said this, you guys have heard me say this a million times, get in, and I'm not even going to say therapy. Yeah, therapy, sure, great. Get in a group, a support group. There are some things that are so profoundly healing about support groups. And if you're looking for a resource on that, go to NAMI.org. There are so many out there. You can Google it and find great resources. Local places of worship often host them, even if they're not religious groups. They just host them because they have space, and oftentimes they'll provide those free to those groups. So your local synagogue or temple or mosque or church will have those. Sometimes VFWs, community centers host those. Otherwise, NAMI.org, NAMI.org is another one. All right. Here we go. Maria asks, how do you get over a trauma bond? I keep getting pulled back in with my ex, thinking he's changed. Maria, the problem is what you really need to get over, Maria, isn't the trauma bond per se. The reason you're stuck in a trauma bond is because you still have beliefs inside of you that say, I suck, I'm unlovable the way I am, I'm not good enough. And you are wanting this particular person to confirm your worth. What is keeping you bonded to this person is not the trauma with this person. What is keeping you bonded with this person is the fear of not having your worth confirmed. And where was your worth deconfirmed? It was deconfirmed. It was stolen from you in childhood. And so what you're really wanting deep down is the parent to give you the very thing you got. But the spouse, the partner, becomes the avatar. And now if you're talking about your ex here, yeah. Your ex is just the avatar, the apparition, the space filler. And you're wanting this person to give you the love and the confirmation of worth that you never got. And how do you get over it? You get over it by going deep inside to the original wounds and healing those. And that's precisely what I wrote my book for, that there's a hole in my love cup. You can get it at badasscounseling.com. It'll literally walk you through the process of how to do that.
I had a question about using the book and the workbook in the most efficient way.
Yeah. The most efficient way?
Right.
Most efficient way to use the book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, is if you're going to use first of all, it's available as paperback, hard copy or hardcover, audio, ebook, audiobook, and also there's a workbook that you can get as well. All of these are available at badasscounseling.com. The audiobook is only available at badasscounseling.com. It's not on Audible. It's not anywhere else, only at badasscounseling.com. If you're going to get the audiobook, you're going to have to write down the journaling questions at the end of the chapters. Why? Because if you don't do the journaling exercises in the book, you're getting about 1/2 of the worth of the book. Just because the real meat of the book, the gold, happens in those journaling exercises. So if you're getting the audiobook, I strongly recommend that you get the workbook so you don't have to write down all the fucking questions. And I actually added more journaling recommendations in the workbook. Anyway, the most efficient way to read the book is precisely the way it's written. Just start at the beginning and read and take your time. And when journaling questions come, song recommendations, there are song recommendations in the book. all right, that track with that particular chapter. And there are even bonus chapters that go at the end of some of the chapters. There's a bonus section in the back, like bonus tracks on a CD. And so you go back and read the bonus chapter and so forth, and just track it from the beginning and read it through. But some people prefer to, start halfway through. Lots of people actually read the book all the way through, and then they go back through and do the journaling exercises. And hey, man, if that's what you want to do it. But you ask the most efficient way, read it front to back and do the journaling exercises as you go. All right, next question. Oh, right. In fact, Jody H. right here on TikTok says, yes, I think I need to go back and do the questions. It was heavy to read and couldn't stop. Yeah, you got to go back, Jody. And yes, it is heavy to read. And yes, it is scary, but you do have to go back. And that's the whole point of the book, is those questions, because that's where the insights of the book interface with your life. Because it's not just a book of insights. That's not enough. You're not going to heal yourself by having insights. You're going to heal yourself by getting the pain and the bullshit out of you. Plenty of people can have insights. And this is what I just made a video on this today. It won't post for probably a week or at least several days. And I talk about how, forgiveness and, forgiveness is like psilocybin and LSD. They're really similar. I get so many people coming to me who have done ayahuasca retreats and psilocybin and entheogenics. And they're very much like people who have forgiven someone for some great pain that person has caused. They're very similar. You want to know why? Do you want to know what LSD / ayahuasca and entheogenics have in common with forgiveness? That they break you open to a higher level of feeling and moving through life. That, gosh, I'm finally relieved of all that pain. Wow, here's a new way of living, and it feels good. But the problem is it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. In and of itself, forgiveness doesn't stick. In and of itself, psilocybin and ayahuasca retreats don't stick, which is why people keep doing them. It cracks them open. But I get people coming to me after, 2, 5, 8 years of doing that stuff, and they're like, it doesn't stick. I get people coming to me years later after forgiving and saying, why am I still angry at that person? I tell them, because the pain and all the shit that went with that person or that experience is still in you. All the pain and fears and bullshit beliefs you were taught about yourself are still in you. And until you get that out of you, all of those drugs, medications, whatever you want to call them, and all that forgiveness just stuffs all your pain down further. You got to bring it up and get it the fuck out. All right, next question. All right.
Sort of related here on YouTube. JB Abe says, I notice I block myself to becoming self-actualized when I try to write about it. I feel flashbacks and physical pain.
Yeah. JB it is?
Yeah, JB Jabe.
JB, yeah, you do feel all that stuff. That's the point. That's the point. It's a 2-step process, my man. The point is, what the journaling does is it brings it up. All that stuff you've been stuffing down your whole life into that vault to try to keep it locked up to avoid it. I don't want to fucking deal with that shit. That shit sucks. Lock it in the fucking vault and just power on forward. Then, when I talk about in my book, you're running. Chapter 3, you're running from life. Using booze, using overworking, overparenting, pills, pot, whatever. And so when you journal, when you think about it, when you go to your therapist, it brings it all up. And it's like, well, I don't want to fucking feel this shit. Fuck journaling. This sucks ass. Right? But up is half of the battle. And I got people who can't even bring it up or refuse to bring it up. Or they've brought it up before and it's like, that sucks so bad, and they stuff it down, never to be seen again. Up and out is the goal. See, this is why we keep journaling. This is why we keep writing the letters that we don't send. This is why we hopefully have journal therapists who push us to go deeper and to push us to take deeper questions and answer them. Because it's not enough to bring it up. We have to get it out. Up and out. Up and out. It has to be both. And we keep doing it, and that's how we get the shit out of us. Otherwise, you're just bringing it up. So when I get people who say to me, I'm really good at sitting with my feelings. I really honor my feelings. And I sit with them, I'm like, that's fucking fantastic. Because I get people who can't or won't refuse to sit with their feelings. In some forms of rehab, the one thing they make you do is go sit on a park bench for 1 hour all by yourself, no phone, no nothing. For some people, do you know how fucking hard that is? All right. to just sit there with your feelings. You can't distract anymore. You can't anesthetize yourself. But if you're not getting those out in addition to pulling them up, then your ability to sit with your feelings is worthless. You've got to get them up and get them out. And that's what the journaling and the letter writing and the other exercises in my book are for. Okay. Looks like I've got time for a few more questions here.
By the way, Riding Through the Storm is saying, your book helped me see I needed actual counseling, but should I continue with the book while I am counseling?
Yeah, for sure. The reason you continue with the book, in fact, I have lots of therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists who tell me, Sven, I had a client bring your book in and was reading it, telling me about it, and now I recommend that. I use that book on myself, and now I recommend it to my other clients. I have clients, I have books, I have churches who use it for their groups. I have professional organizations. There are some military bases where they use it in their counseling centers. And even if you're just doing it on your own, what it's going to do is it's going to accelerate what you're doing in therapy. Even if you're working on something completely different in therapy, you have to understand, I'm going to use a sports metaphor, and if you're not a sports person, I'm sorry, but even musicians will understand this. Even artists will understand this. In sports, we say championships are won and lost in the off season. Okay? It's the work you do out of therapy. I always give my clients homework, and it's always optional. I don't give a fuck if they do it or not. I want them to, but if they don't, that's okay. I just put it there for people who want to run faster, who want to get results sooner. I work with people who want results fucking now. Not 3 years from now, now. And so if you want results now, work on as much shit as you possibly can and then bring it up in therapy. I was doing this other work and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fuck, go for it, man. This is your life. Your therapist fucking has got to work in, conjunction with the fucking work you're doing. Work together, fucking bust ass, kick some ass, pin your ears back, stick your chest out and get her to the fuck done. Here we go. Let's see here. Okay. Shannon Ritchie asked, what about during the journaling and flushing process, you feel like you have gone numb or disassociated maybe? I feel stuck. Like I know things aren't my fault. I can say what happened and why, but I feel stuck there. When you go numb or disassociate, it's because your system has become overwhelmed. It's a shutdown of the system. All right? It's like overload. Okay? And so that's actually when you can pull back, you can check out, you can do whatever you want. But ultimately, that's where, it's like, this is a fucking gold mine, man. When it comes to healing, that's a gold mine. And even if you can start chipping away at that and just write out, I feel numb. Write out, explain what you are feeling. I feel numb. Write about what your body is feeling. I feel a little bit chilled in this room. Or why do I feel numb? Or what was it that led to me feeling numb? You can still continue the process. Not everything in the journaling process is a feeling. Sometimes it's a digging. So if I were in a session with you right now, Shannon, and you said, Sven, I'm just feeling numb right now. I'd say, okay, stay with me here. All right? Do you trust me, Shannon? You'd say, no. Maybe. I'd say, oh, come on. And you're paying me all this money. You might as well trust me. And they're like, okay. And then I'd say, all right, well, tell me what else you feel. Mainly numb, and I feel really lethargic. Okay. Why? What was it that we started talking about just now? When did it shift? See, now I'm using your brain. Now we're not talking about your feelings. We're talking about your feelings, but not the actual feeling itself. And we're pulling it apart. When did it start? Well, you could do this in your journaling. When did the numbness kick in? What thought was it that I had? Or what was I journaling about when that really kicked in? Because I wasn't numb 5 minutes ago. Why now? Boom. Now you're unpacking it. Now you're not allowing that numbness, that overwhelmedness to win. Okay, this is a real commitment to yourself. This is a real commitment to yourself. And so it's going into it rather than running. And if you need to run the first 100 times when you get overwhelmed, hey, nothing wrong with that. All right? That's okay. But at some point, when you know it's coming, turn into it. Turn into it and start pulling it apart. Why is it happening now? Why does it always happen when I start thinking about, Susie or mom or whatever? All right? Turn into it and start pulling the meat off the bone. I have one more question here. And Lorraine asked the question, how do you get out of your own way? Lorraine, you're not in your own way. Those messages that you were taught to believe about yourself are in your way. And the way you get those out of your way is you go into your past, you go into your childhood, and you begin to unpack the bullshit beliefs you were taught to believe about yourself. And then as you do that, what you're going to discover is those things aren't attacking you from the inside. You're feeling like you're in your own way. It's like you have one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. And what's keeping you on the brake, what's keeping you, what some people would call self-sabotaging, is all that shit you were taught to believe about yourself. But that's not your authentic self that is sabotaging you. It's the bullshit you were conditioned to believe about yourself. All right, folks. That's a wrap, I think. Rob, how you feeling?
I feel great. That is a wrap, and you've done it again. Fabulous.
This was fun. I had a old friend come up to me today at the gym. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. And I actually saw him, Rob, last time one time when we went out, you and me and a couple of our friends, and I had seen him there, and I haven't seen him since. And he's a gym friend. And a local guy, big guy, an older dog like me. And he told me that he regularly listens to the show. Last guy in the world you would ever think listens to the show. His name's Danny. And I give him a big hug, and he's like, oh my God, it's so good. I'm like, great to see you. I haven't seen you in the gym in forever. I mean, he looks great and all this. And he said, Sven, I listen to your show all the time. The last guy you would ever think.
Those are the people we need.
Well, and he says, it just builds me up. I love listening to your show. And my mind was blown just because I respect the guy so much, but also it's just because he's the last guy you would ever think. And it's just such a nice feeling to know that, some people, you never know who, when you do a good thing in life or strive to do something right, you never know whose life you're going to touch. And so we're all each doing our piece. And each one of you is doing your piece in the world, doing shit I can't do. Doing shit you're passionate about. And so the world needs you doing what you're passionate about because you're impacting lives too. And you don't know who's dependent upon you doing that good that you're passionate about. And if you ain't passionate about it, stop doing it. Right? Pull back, heal you, and so that you're just doing the things that you're passionate about. And then you'll bring even more love and passion and life to life itself. Thank you so much for all your questions. Any final thoughts, Rob?
Let's be kind to each other.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Graciousness. On behalf of my entire team, KC in the booth, Rob the Rocket sitting next to me, thank you to everyone tuning in around the world. Thank you to everyone who sent in your fantastic questions. This was really a fun episode. I love it, and we do this because healing should not take a long time. Heal your demons. Have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.